Vriende, goeiemôre. Dis Dinsdag die 8de Oktober, Koffiekuier 889. En ons gesels oor Esegiel 47 se visioen. En jy sal onthou dat ek Vrydag met jou hierdie gedeelte deurgelees het en ek 'n pragtige beeld van water wat uit die tempel uit die heiligdom uit, met ander woorde vanuit jou verhouding met God vloei, en dan soos wat hierdie water vloei, raak dit al dieper en al breër en bring dit lewe voort. Nou, die van julle wat Sondag ingeskakel by die erediens sal onthou dat ek ook oor hierdie teks gepreek het en eintlik gesê, dis ons roeping as gelowiges wat in Christus is. Ons moet ook so lewe bring in die konteks waarin ek en jy leef, in die wêreld, in die omstandighede, in die gemeente, in die gemeenskap, waar ons ook al is. Daar moet ons ook vir mense lewe gee op grond van die feit dat ons uit hierdie verhouding met die Here dan leef. Nou, ek het nogal gewonder, wat moet ek vandag verder met jou deel, en ek het tog op die eind besluit om nie self baie te praat nie. Want Bible Project, julle weet mos ek is lief vir Bible Project se ouens se materiaal, omdat dit goeie teologie is, ook vanuit 'n gereformeerde perspektief, maar hulle het 'n pragtige videoetjie om eintlik die belangrikheid van water in die hele Bybel te onderstreep. Natuurlik by die anker van Esegiel 47 eintlik, maar ook op ander plekke. En ek gaan vir jou hierdie video wys. So, kyk gou saam met my na die video, dis so 5 minute, en dan sal ek net weer 'n woord of twee daaroor sê daarna.
If you go out into a desert, you'll see why it's one of the most deadly, uninhabitable places on the planet. It's dry, and where there's no water, there's no life.
This is the picture that we get on page 2 of Genesis. The story begins with a dry and desolate wilderness. But God provides a spring in the desert that becomes a source of life for plants and animals.
And that's where God brings together a man and a woman so that humanity can flourish and spread the life of the garden.
Exactly. And that garden spring becomes a river that flows out to water the entire world. And there can be enough for everyone. It's all a gift from God.
And this is great. Humans in a lush garden, but as it turns out, they find a way to ruin it.
Right. Despite all of this water that God's provided, it's like they still have a drought deep inside of them. This is an image of the human condition, how we're always thirsty for more.
But more of what?
Well, in this story, the humans want more wisdom to create more security and more control on their own terms. And tragically, it only leaves them more thirsty and suspicious of each other, and so they end up back in the wilderness.
The humans have lost access to the water of life.
And because of that, they can't spread God's life into the world.
And so God needs to rescue them from the wilderness.
Yeah, like in the story of Jacob. His selfish scheming ruined his family relationships, so he has to run from his problems out into the wilderness. But there, he finds a well, and he meets a woman.
And this is like Eden, a man and a woman together by a source of water.
Right. And then through Jacob, God creates the family of Israel. And he invites them to share in his own life so that they can be his partners in spreading that life to others. And sometimes they do this.
But ultimately, they struggle with the same drought of the soul, thirsting for more power and more control, and it leads them down a path of violence and self-ruin.
And so they find themselves in a new wilderness, captive to other nations.
All this effort to quench our own thirst on our own terms, it's killing us.
Yeah, the biblical prophet Ezekiel described Israel in exile as a pile of dry bones, scattered in a desert valley. But, he said, one day God will pour out his own life presence, his spirit, to water the land, to create a new Eden and new kinds of humans.
People who can spread God's life to others.
Exactly. And so this brings us to the story of Jesus.
Right. And there's a story about Jesus who goes to a well that Jacob used to own.
And just like in Jacob's story, Jesus meets a woman. And he tells this woman that no matter how much water she drinks from this well, she'll always thirst for more. Then he offers water that could quench her thirst forever.
He's not talking about the well water.
No, what he's talking about is God's own life that comes through him to us to satisfy our deepest thirsts. This is why later on Jesus says, "Let anyone who's thirsty come to me and drink."
This is cool. But it's also a strange image, drinking from a person.
Totally. And it's connected to another strange image we find in the story of Jesus' death on the cross.
A Roman soldier thrusts a spear in Jesus' side, and there's blood. But also, all this water flows out.
Yes, it's an image showing how Jesus' death is a fountain of life. From him, God's own love that would die for his enemies flows down and out into the world.
After Jesus was raised from the dead, we're told that he sends the Spirit into his followers.
Yes, to fill them up with God's own life. This is why the Apostle Paul said that when we join the current of God's Spirit, the fruit of Eden starts growing in us. Love and joy, patience and kindness, gentleness and self-control.
People like that can create beautiful things in the world that bring life to others.
Yes, like little streams of God's life that can come together and point forward to the beautiful scene that we find on the last page of the Bible.
There's a new river of life.
Yes, it's flowing out from God and into a renewed creation, bringing life to all wherever it goes.
Vriende, jy sal met my saamstem, beter verduidelik kan ek dit in elk geval nie. So die pragtige beeld van water wat eintlik 'n sterk metafoor is dwars deur die woord van die Here, en wat op die ou end uitloop op die lewenswater in Christus. En dis ons roeping. Dis 'n heerlike roeping om deel te wees van hierdie rivier van lewende water waarmee God ook hierdie wêreld wil aanraak, wil lewe gee, vir hulle genesing wil bring. Kom ons vra dat die Here ons sal help deur sy Gees om inderdaad altyd deel van hierdie genesende water te bly. Here, baie dankie dat ons vanmôre kan stil raak en dat ons kan weet, U nooi ons uit om as het ware in die rivier in te spring by die metafoor, dat ons kan deel word van hierdie wonderwerk van U wat met genesing en lewensgewende krag na die wêreld toe kom. Ons sien dit op soveel maniere, Here, in die skepping, dat U telkens deur water lewe gee, en daarom is ons gebed dat U ook vir ons sal help om vanuit ons verhouding met U en onder leiding van die Gees elke dag deel te wees van hierdie beweging van U na die wêreld toe. Gee vir ons die wysheid, die onderskeidingsvermoë om te kan sien waar in ons lewe, hoe, by wie kan ons betrokke wees, sodat U koninkryk inderdaad mag kom. Ons bid dit, Here Jesus, in U naam. Amen. Vriende, ek hoop jy het 'n lekker Dinsdag verder. Wat jy ook al doen, geniet dit. Ons gesels Vrydag dat weer inleidend oor ons volgende reeks, waarby ons in die gemeente dan ook stil staan, wat juis aansluit by ons roepingsverklaring wat sê, ons is ambassadeurs van hoop. Met ander woorde, hoe leef ons met hoop, ook in hierdie tye waarin ons is. Intussentyd, geniet altyd, soos ek sê, jou koffie. Ons gesels dan Vrydagoggend weer. Mooi loop.